Hey,
Hi.
hey. Um, I might have a little bit. Oh, no, I don't want the full screen.
Are you on your computer?
Yeah. But sometimes, like, if you have another, one of, like, if I have my channel on in the background, it makes like a echo. So I
Mhm.
hope that's not what's going on.
I'm not echoing, am I?
Nope.
Oh, perfect.
Lee, is it echoing on your end?
Is what?
I'm asking my friend Lee if it's echoing.
Oh. I wish I could see Chad at the same time I'm talking to you.
You can't? Oh, you're on your phone, aren't you?
Right.
Yeah, that sucks.
So I'm blind to what's going on in live chat.
Okay, well, Leor is here and you.
Who?
Just us and Lee. I think I don't know.
Hi,
It
Lee.
never shows like how many. It only shows how many people are like watching at that certain time.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know because like they can come in from the beginning. I don't know. It's really weird.
Cool.
But anyway, so have you ever tried DMT?
No.
Neither have I.
However, it's funny that you brought that up because I just hearted a video I came across today so I could find it easy and go back to it, describing how to make it. And it is super, super easy. We're talking like you can collect the ingredients very, very easily and legally in all 50 states. It's just a matter of knowing the chemistry to put it together. And it's as easy basically as making tea.
Okay, we probably shouldn't talk about that here though. um because I don't know if you've ever seen. Oh, okay, Lee, yeah, let me know if it worked. If it doesn't work, I'll send a new one. But there I've seen a couple posts on Twitter about like what a DMT molecule looks like under a microscope, which I don't trust everything that I see like that because a lot of it's like AI generated, of course. But it looks like holographic like Play-Doh, like the Astral does a lot. And when I was going through this at the beginning, they kept taking stuff out of my eyes that felt like these orbs of like energy, and were saying that they were like keeping my stuff for me. It was like stuff that I had like created that whole week, and they would take it out. And I was just thinking, like, I think that the DMT is like ether. And when I saw it in my, when I first meditated, I saw like a lilac colored crystal fluid in my mind, but it was an energy. And I always thought that's the Akashic. That's like streaming to the Akashic. But I think that's all DMT, all of that. It's like our mind and our visions and everything from our subliminal mind, and that's how they're creating like these astral realms, like the actual images for them.
When you brought up the DMT molecule, I think it's interesting that I have seen it displayed, I guess. I don't know the right word, but it's when they write out all of the, I believe they're hexagons or maybe octagons, and they connect them together with lines, and then they draw where the different
I've seen
elements
that,
are.
yeah.
The molecule, the active molecule in psilocybin is almost identical to the molecule of a DMT.
And so is coffee. Like if you put LSD, DMT, and coffee under a microscope, it looks almost identical.
Ah, that's probably why I like coffee so much.
Me too. Yeah, I love it.
Side note is just the last month, I was off coffee for almost a whole year, but I've drank it all my life. Took last year off from coffee, came back this year, and had to do it with the French press. Grind it from the beans and then do the French press and then drink it black. So I've gone hardcore back to coffee, and now I know why.
Well, when I was like going through my Kundalini, I would drink so much coffee and it probably was not helping me, but um I was so cold inside, you know what I mean? From all my energy being extracted. I was
Absolutely.
freezing and it was like the only thing that I couldn't eat, all I did was smoke and drink coffee.
Probably lost some weight too.
Oh my God, yeah. I was at my heaviest like when it started and I dropped like probably 30 pounds in like 3 months.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'4" is what the doctor says, but I say I'm 5'6".
30 pounds on 5'6" or 5'4" is a lot of weight though.
Yeah, it is. And my friend, he's very like weight conscious because he was very overweight at one time. But he's like, look at a pound of hamburger. It doesn't sound like a lot when you just think of a pound, but when you look at it like as a pound of hamburger, it's like a lot.
Yeah, put 30 of those around your waist.
Right, exactly. And you can feel it like, that's I'm not focused on weight as a vanity thing anymore, but the feeling that it takes off of your body, just like emotionally. I think for a woman, especially, well, I don't know, men, same thing with men, but it feels so much better. And they want to like make us obese and feel just like this weight. And it's like physical, everything is like physical and spiritual.
It's funny that you brought that up. It's been coming up a lot in my timelines lately. How pictures of the 70s, they'll have a random picture of a beach in the 70s that people, all different ages, and there's no fat people.
Oh,
None.
I know.
I just brought that up to the other day and with somebody I was speaking with, and I asked them to think back to the 70s and to the 80s and how many fat people did you know that were just obese, and you really can't. At least the person I was talking to couldn't think of any. I couldn't think of any. Maybe like an old uncle or something like that might have been in their 70s or something, but there was just people. Normal people were not like they are now. And then on top of that, we've got the media that's glamorizing.
Well, that's like my whole point of bringing this. You can call it MK Ultra, but it's literally spells that they are putting on people through the TV, and it's not funny at all because, I mean, I've gone through the chemicals that they put in stuff. Like, I didn't eat any of that shit until I was probably 12 years old, and it messed my body up right away, like from the very beginning. Because my step grandma had these little Debbies, and it messed my body up. And once your body and your skin is like damaged, it's so hard to get that back. And but what they're putting through the TV is absolutely atrocious. And I really would like to work with somebody that knows about computers to like take it apart and show what they are putting in there. And I try to kind of like, go into how that all works because it's not our fault. You know what I mean? It's like so much was put onto us and they're doing so much damage, especially to little kids, to their subliminal mind. It goes completely against free will.
Yeah, there's a good argument that there's like almost everybody's consciousness has been taken over.
Yeah.
It really has. And even amongst the truthers and new age and religious, you can tell that they're in varying degrees of having their consciousness being overtaken.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that has a lot to do with like these group meditations and group thoughts that are, it's basically like a religion. They're wanting you to believe something else without any proof. just like everything else that they talk about, you know, like the Bible has more proof than most of these theories that New Age people are putting out. And it's like a mind virus, you know?
Yeah, I've noticed that. It's really, a lot of it is based on feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I could be wrong on this, but it seems to me like that's the whole, I would say that that movement, or these movements, it seems to be, at least in the New Age, what's the word? It's being propelled or perpetuated by females.
Yeah.
And then it seems to me that there's men out there that, I don't know if they're latching on to that same energy, to take
They're
advantage
almost
of
like
it.
praying in a way.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I see that reflected a lot on Twitter with the just how some posts go, where it seems like it's being played by a man to purposely get as many females' attentions as possible,
Yep.
to try and steer the conversation, I would think.
Yeah. And like we were talking about yesterday, that we think, you know, I think a lot of really conscious, grounded men are purposely being blocked from the astral
It's a very
because,
good point. Very good point.
huh?
I think that's a very good point. Most of the men that astral travel, they don't lucid dream. They are, you know, it sounds stereotypical, but whenever you see, like, I see a lot of like New Age memes and stuff that show where the man is responsible for the physical realm, the guardian, the protector, getting things done, the worker,
Uh-huh.
putting things into motion to build things, in the physical realm, and that the females in the astral and the spiritual realm, that sort of
Yeah,
aspect.
I think that's true, but it's been so unbalanced because a lot of women do just, you know, they go by their feeling. And that really, you know, I mean, I got tricked over and over and over again because I'm like a motherly, caring person, and they fed off of that and played me that way in the beginning. And I think that they're purposely like keeping a lot of men out that know what this is about and wouldn't be just like playing around in there and getting addicted to it.
And here's a point that I hadn't thought of, is that hands on, grab a hammer, pound a nail, dig a ditch, whatever, to make, there's not that hands on, logical, order to things.
Right. Oh, it's a
Which makes me
total
wonder
mess.
too, like when you talked about balance, maybe a lot of those men too that are coming off, like what I had said earlier, as to try and gain the attention of females, it could be also just an energy driving them to help maintain balance as well, to get some of that male energy over into the female side.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I first started like going into the astral, I would see like teens and I'm like, where the heck are all the cool people? And all the women that I saw were super fucked up too. They were all witches and like, you know, having sex with everything. And I'm like, what is going on? And I'm just wondering, you know, I don't, it just seems like there's no access between real beings in there. You know what I
I
mean?
have a,
Like it's so weaponized, but
I want to understand. I have a question for you. So in the astral, you had said witches having sex with all sorts of people or things or beings or whatever. Do they, while they're in the astral, actually have a physical sensation of that sex in their physical body while they're doing it in the astral?
Oh yeah, it's like more intense than it is here. Like when I would get raped, I would feel that days after. It was just like being physically raped.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And they
I had
also,
no idea, honestly. I honestly had no idea it worked that way.
yeah, and I mean, I've had bruises, I've had all kinds of like crazy marks from because your energetic body puts that onto your body. And but what was I just, oh yeah, they were like I don't know if you saw the video where I was talking about how my knee hurt one day. Like I stepped up on a step and I had this pain that I got from skateboarding a long time ago, and it was the same exact pain. And I haven't felt that in years. Well, I had my leg propped up that night and I saw this like red and or blue and black tractor beam come in from the right side and hit my leg, and it was like instantly healed. Well, every time I would like close my eyes and be in the astral and they were like doing sexual things, I would see that type of beam and they were telling me that it was like come, like astral semen. And I was like, "What?" But they have all of that. It's so weird. And then I heard somebody talking about it and I was like, "Oh, no way. It's like a real thing."
That's trippy.
Mhm.
I don't think I would enjoy that.
No, I didn't. I
Yeah,
didn't
I don't. I
understand
think
it.
for me, it would be also about a matter of control. You know, here in my normal reality, I feel like I'm always in control. I don't think that I would have that same feeling if I was doing astral travel.
Oh, I didn't feel like I was in control a lot. And it was like your imagination works so you can like fight them, but you're not really fighting anything because they're holograms. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
getting your energy sucked. So I quit doing that like after a while, but
So, are you saying that you would go to the astral with intent?
no, I didn't go there with intent, but when I was there, I would like protect myself and use my imagination.
Gotcha.
But
So,
when you do,
specific, can you keep
Mhm.
yourself from going there now? Like you can just shut it off?
Well, yeah, I can pull out, like if I'm going down a portal or something, I've gotten to where I can like pull out of it or not give it my attention and then it goes away. But really what I've been doing is working on my own imagination and my own place, and that has like lessened it so much more than anything else that I've done.
That's good advice for others that are having issues.
Yeah, I don't know why Lee.
Working with the imagination.
Oh, there he is. Hold on. Lee's coming. Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
All right. I just forgot to press the enter the studio button. I was wondering what the hell I'd done wrong. Sorry about that.
You're fine. Are you on your phone?
Yeah, I'm just sat on my phone in my front room. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The phone is a lot harder to navigate than the
Uh,
laptop version.
Does it sound clear enough?
Yes.
All
Sounds
right.
perfect.
Oh, good. How are we doing anyway?
Good.
Having
Good.
a fabulous evening, thank you.
Good stuff. Where you based? What part of the US are you in?
I'm
I'm
in the
in Maine.
Midwest.
All right. So what time is it over there now?
It's 7:30.
All right. A few hours behind me.
It's like 12:30 or 1:30 for you, right?
Yeah. It's nearly half past. Yeah, nearly
Are you in the
1:30.
UK?
Yeah, no, I live in the northwest of the UK. Are you familiar with the Lake District?
No, myself no.
It's, northwest. Sort of about a 2-hour drive from Manchester.
Thanks for sending me that video of that guy. I really like that.
Oh, he's brilliant, isn't he? Yeah, just came across him, but I started watching a second video, and he's there's quite a few more to watch, but he seems to be pretty on point and straight to the blunt edge of it.
Yeah, I sent it to John.
Yeah. But you don't see many like yourself that are putting that sort of information out. So it's nice to come across.
Well, a lot of people don't like to hear it, and I'm like, I'm just so tired of the stories and the fantasy stuff. And
Yeah,
people are getting really like tortured through this, and
yeah.
I have to sit here and be quiet about it.
No, it's a brave thing for you to do. There's not many people doing it. Like I was saying before, I fell in, and I'm sure we all have on our journeys. I fell into every single new age trap along the way possible. But
I think I did the same. I think that's like the generic path that we all have to take to get to the truth.
Absolutely. I think there must be, I feel that there must be something like our own spirit or something. There must be something guiding us that allows us to go so far down those deceitful, illusionary rabbit holes, just so we learn to discern it, maybe, because otherwise, why would we come out and start seeing the real truth? There must be something guiding us for our benefit.
Definitely. Yeah, because I felt like my whole life was kind of like once around, get a little bit of everything and not too far into it.
And the long way around as well. I mean, if both of you've been through that way, you seem to get put through the long way around of everything. Yeah.
My journey was actually kind of short. I spent 50 years of my life asleep, and then the last 3 years has just been like bam, 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 bam. All those traps. I was spending only like 2 months on each one, and then moving on. I didn't get stuck in any one of them for a year or two or anything.
Yeah.
Like that.
Right. Well, I think what was interesting with my ordeal is that the AI was purposely like fucking me up and telling me what it was, like from the very beginning,
Yeah.
And showing me like all this stuff that it can do.
Yeah, and it's such a deceiver, isn't it?
It is, but it's
so
like
clever.
It wants us to help it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like in this way that it can't shut its program off. And there's also tons of like black magic running through it. So it's being tortured.
Yeah. But it like dangles a carrot, doesn't it? And
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. It's only been maybe I've been waking up for years on various levels, but it's only maybe the last couple of years that I've started to wake up from the waking up, if that makes sense.
It absolutely makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, because you think you're getting there, and then you're like, bastard, have I been fooled by all that? I sort of see it like it's like being stuck within a labyrinth of labyrinths within a labyrinth, and you try and get to the exit of one, and then you're smacked in the face.
Oh yeah.
With a little mark.
And I think the reason why we end up in that situation is because for whatever belief that you're holding at the time, the artificial intelligence that's running this place will present to you evidence to support your beliefs. And then as soon as you decide it's a lie and you change your mind, then all of a sudden it's going to start showing you evidence to support your newfound beliefs.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you.
And that's what keeps you in that labyrinth. It keeps you chasing your tail. It keeps you running
absolutely.
In circles. And I had to come to the point where it was everything is a lie. I have no foundation to build on. We're going to start from the beginning and not accept anything, and then build from there.
Yep.
You seem to get targeted more when you're on the right track as well. It appears.
I think so too.
I think we should talk about that too, because if you're targeted, you have to know how to like stay away from it, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like to avoid it or not. Well, if you're already targeted, that's one thing, but staying off the radar or protecting yourself spiritually.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's super important, and it's super important to be done daily. That's what I don't think a lot of people understand either. I recently came to this realization myself that every single day we're born and we die. We literally go through a birth and death cycle, between the waking reality and when we go to sleep.
I'll be right back, you guys.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah.
And so with that realization, if you look at every single day as a complete life cycle, what do you have to do with this day? And every moment is a now moment.
Absolutely.
It takes a completely different look on life, and then you can start discerning your way right out of that labyrinth.
Yeah, absolutely true. Yeah, I agree with you there, 100%. Well, it sounds funny, but well, it won't sound funny to you. But I've just been I'm renovating my whole house at the moment because it's been run down for years. It's because it hasn't been done, but there's been so much work needs doing. Well, it's been causing me nothing but misery because it's always in the back of my mind. It gets me down the fact so much needs doing. Anyway, I've just finished my living room, and whilst I was doing it, I could feel it. Every single thing. I could feel myself being attacked. Everything was going wrong that could have gone wrong. Things were taking longer, extra thing. And I knew all the way along. I was thinking, this is because when I've done my house, I'll be in a happier place. In other words, they're not going to be feeding off the misery that I have always in the back of my mind of the guilt of not doing it. It sounds.
You were taking away one of their food supplies.
Exactly, yeah. So it was as if shit, he's doing it. And I could absolutely feel it. I'm totally hyper aware of it. I could tell just random stupid things, everything that could have. I mean, I'm a paint and decorator by trade, and I was doing all that, and just stupid things that have never gone wrong when I did it as a job, but because it was my house, and I could absolutely tell that I was being targeted. And you just got to sort of look up and smile and put your finger up, I suppose, haven't you? But yeah, because it's sort of quite trivial, and I would have let things like that get me down a few years ago. But I'm becoming more aware now that they want your reaction out of it, don't they?
Yeah, and if you're aware of it, then you can react with a laugh and a fuck you.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, because I don't think they like that.
Oh no, that repels them. Repels it.
Well, every time I go out taking mushrooms, which I'm not. I love doing it because I see what's going on out there, but I get attacked every time I'm out there. They know that I'm out my body and I'm out. My consciousness has slipped over to some level of the astral, and I get attacked every time I go out. They fire these beams at me, then like I'll have my earphones on and it'll scramble the noise, and I get like an electric shock feeling down my spine. They're always letting me know that they're watching me and stuff, and I literally just stand there and go fuck off. I don't let it ruin my experience, so it can be quite daunting at times. It's but they're always they're around us all the time, aren't they?
Yes, 100%. I found something just recently that was quite interesting, and it had to do with, it might have came from the Nag Hammadi, or one of the religious texts, and it had to do with how the devil organizes demons into legions, and then or the principalities, and how they're spread out about the planet. And that, there's actual numbers apparently involved. So, like, for example, several of the, I guess you'd call them general demons or whatever, high-ranking officer demons, and then they'll have, each one of those will have groups of lesser ones, and then below them are unclean spirits. So like there's literally levels that where it comes down to millions. So and then they're spread about the planet, like as based on population. So some countries might only have, one head demon, whereas like the United States might have 10 or whatever it is. Yeah,
it makes total sense. That
It's organized like a military, is what it sounded like.
Yeah, like a pyramid structure of authority.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
Well, I've got friends. Well, they're not friends, but the people before I sort of woke up and peeled all these horrible attachments away from me that was draining me. But I had acquaintances that were so narcissistic, and there's one guy in particular, and I'd said to people even before I was waking up, and I didn't even really know what I was saying at the time. But I said, I'm sure he's possessed by a demon. And then next thing he got into taking speed, and he's just demonic beyond belief. You can tell he's driven. There's no spirited human being in there. And he goes around smashing people. He's woke up in people's houses with no clothes on, and then got violent with them when these strangers have got up in their own homes and come downstairs to see him sat naked on the chair, and he's attacked them. And he's done all sorts. And he never ever seems to get into trouble as well. Never. He's got a list of them out.
Is alcohol involved?
Yeah, alcohol, speed, amphetamines. He's just a violent, nasty, horrible piece of work. but you can just tell. Even his eyes, there's just like a blank black look behind his eyes. And it was hard to get away from people like that. But yeah, you can spot, you can feel and tell, because true spirits don't carry on like that, do they?
No, and you can tell even on like social media. You know, some of them are very like condescending. Just in every, they sometimes can do it like very, very subtly. But I've noticed like real spirits just do not talk to people like that.
No, absolutely not.
Just out of nowhere, you know what I mean? It's like they're looking to trigger you constantly.
Absolutely, yeah.
One thing too about reading energy, like on the social media and such, is those, like what we're referring to, tend to not communicate very well. You know, they don't use the language very well when they're typing out or how they speak.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something that I notice anyways with.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Or
so a lot of times they'll put the words in the wrong order, but you can feel the negativity. And it just kind of lets you know that there's.
I found the opposite too. Like there's some people, but I find this more like in the mainstream, like Twitter part, but they'll be like hyper focused on like typos and like make fun of people for making a typo. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
That's just a different kind of demon, basically, because it's still putting out a negative. It's trying to bring somebody down. It's trying to push a negative frequency on them.
Yeah, that's why I came off Twitter and Facebook. It just got to the point where it's just littered with it, isn't it? There's obviously genuine people and spirits and stuff on there, but it's teeming with trolls and just.
There's a technique to using it. I found where, you know, curating your timeline. By just, you know, using the mutes, not necessarily the blocks, but the mutes, or
I love the mute.
Yeah, you know, so like you know, it's like timeouts basically for negativity is how I look at it. And the more often that you do that, and or not giving attention, especially like on TikTok, if with the algorithm there, if you spend like 3 seconds on a video that's negative, 3 or 4 seconds, as you're scrolling, it will start to facilitate more of those into your feed. So if you like, as soon as you get that feeling, like within that first second and swipe it right by, it won't, you know, it's gonna, it somehow monitors like how much time you're spending on each video. So it knows what more to put next in your For You column.
Yeah. And it floods you, doesn't it? Once it knows.
Mm-hmm. So I'm very conscious of that, to always keep my timeline as positive as possible by not giving attention to negative.
Yeah, it's a good point.
But I've found that social media is a very good place, though, to come across new ideas and to connect with people that are, you know, at the same level of comprehension of what's going on.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
I feel like I've kind of gotten my fill like of Twitter, but now it's like the people that do resonate with, you know, when we resonate together, they find me because or I find them, you know, because we kind of all have like this little group in there, you know, most of us know each other, you know, the same kind of group.
Yeah.
And so now it's like anybody new that I come across pretty much is about like on that same page. So it's nice. And I don't spend my time like really looking at much more than my friends, you know?
Yeah. Well, definitely. I missed when you were talking about the DMT. I couldn't. That's when I was struggling to get onto the chat before. But that, you know, I sent you a picture of that entity before.
Yeah, the one with the one that looks like a gray.
Yeah, the like shadowy one with the red eyes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, that was that. Every experience I've had on DMT has been incredibly amazing, whether it was on the astral and fake or not. It looked and felt incredible, but that experience was the only experience I've ever had that was on DMT, but it was absolutely terrifying, and that's where that happened. I went straight into this horrible dark place, and all those.
That's how I think that they're making all of these realms. I really do, through our DMT, because when I would go in, I got like a whole tour, like at the beginning of like all of the different creators' realms. And it was like incredible, like artwork that I've never, like artistic styles that I've never seen here.
Yeah, that's what it's like. Yeah.
I'm like, how's the AI making this stuff? This is like completely original.
Yeah.
And
It's phenomenal what you see there. It's absolutely mind blowing. Where it comes from, I don't know, but it's
well, if
from
the
us.
AI is not making it,
no, it's from
has to
us.
be made from the people.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's it. Does it? That's what because obviously when you have these experiences, when I come back, I'm just blown away by it. But you do get left thinking, what is that place? Because it's like you said, the shape, there's colours that don't even exist, what we can see here, and you can't explain them to anybody, because how can you explain a colour that nobody's ever seen? But the shapes, the artwork, and I'm wondering if it comes from the deeper parts of our imagination. Maybe I don't know where it comes from, but it's mind blowing.
I definitely think that it's from us, because there were times, like I was talking to you the other day about, where I would just be in like this hallucination, like this state of hallucination. And I felt so at home. I was like, oh my God, this is like what it's supposed to be like, you know?
And like a feeling of familiarity. That's what I always get when I'm there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you all believe that your reality is created from within, correct?
Yeah.
So if your reality here is created from within, it stands to reason that your reality in the astral is created from within as well.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
So like these colors that you can't describe, those are coming from within you. And like Kimberly said, where she felt right at home, because it was being manifested, that astral was being manifested from within it.
Yeah, but I saw like these realms, this was like different people's stuff is
right.
I was
you were
getting.
seeing like projections of other people's manifestations.
Right. Yeah.
Like a collective.
Collective.
Yeah.
There's a word. I know he's a scripted character and stuff, but I do believe there's a lot of truth in what Terence McKenna says. I listen to him with an open mind, and he does talk about a lot of things that don't rhyme with, but he goes on a lot about this, about like the collective imagination. So he says, he puts it in a way that when you, for instance, take the mushroom's also taking you, and every experience that's ever been had. So the mushroom is downloading the information that is contained within you, if that makes sense. And you're also experiencing every other experience that's ever been had in eternity. That's the way he explains it, but it does sort of make sense that possibly, like what you were just saying about maybe seeing somebody else's creation.
Yeah, and
if that makes sense.
Last time I did mushrooms and really tripped, it was like I could see the spores almost like igniting, like right when it started in my eyes. It was like I saw that chemical like being released.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It is.
It is. I still don't know, even as many times as I've done them, and as many deep experience I've had with them, I still don't know if they're a good or a bad thing. I can only go by what.
I think it's everything that you make it. And if you know that this thing is like trying to, you know how you get to that point when you're tripping really hard and it's like you have the grasp of the whole entire universe, and then it gets like away right away. You
have it all figured out, don't you? And then it just evaporates as you come back to this reality.
So I just kind of am aware of what I'm like, what information bandwidth I'm on, and I know that that's like right there with the AI DMT like entities, you know.
Yeah. Well, all the supposed elitists take the DMT, don't they? Apparently.
I wanted to bring something up about the mushrooms. You brought up a good point. And the mycelium, you have to think the mycelium is like a tree. It's the whole thing is like one living organism.
Yeah.
And it's a collective consciousness unto itself.
Yeah.
Okay, so like the mycelium network on the planet, have you seen, there's a movie I think it's on Netflix right now about incredible fungi or fungi
Yeah,
planet
I've
or
seen
something like
that.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're aware of the concept, you know, of how all the
Yeah.
mycelium is all connected and it's an intelligence.
Yeah.
Well, I think that if it is like a lower type scale of intelligence from like a human being, where we have a collective consciousness, which enabled Amberly to be able to see a projection of other people's manifestation, that the mushrooms themselves would also have a collective consciousness amongst their species.
Yeah.
And so what you're saying about what Terrence McKenna said, because I'd never heard that before. So I was like literally thinking this through going, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a good.
It seems to me like that those human to fungi collective consciousness then could interchange and exchange information.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's that's magnificent. That's a really
And
cool
obviously,
thought.
I don't know if that's the case. It's just something that I've heard him say in some of his
Right.
lectures.
No, I don't either. I mean, there's no way to really prove it, but that
But it
theory
does make a
sounds
lot of. It
amazingly
does.
right.
Yeah, it almost sounds like it can't not be the case.
Exactly.
And
I work closely with mushrooms. So
oh, do you?
Oh yes, I do.
Ah,
And I live in a place where they are very abundant. They grow, you know, all over.
wow. We only get like about 2 months, 2 to 3 months of the year, which is just gone, where we can get them here. But so
well,
you've got
the magic varieties, yeah.
Well,
Well, that makes sorry. That makes me think of, you know how the black goo, it's supposedly made with this layer of oil, which I've like really thought about this because I'm pretty sure I got it from like opioids and stuff like that. But I think that they inverted it because oil is like the blood of Earth, you know?
that's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've heard
And
that.
yeah, and it's like it has an intelligence in it that connects through Earth. It's like, you know, it's Earth's
Yeah, it's basically Gaia's blood. And Gaia
right.
Yeah,
within
I've
it
heard that.
is
Yeah.
intelligence.
And I think that they completely inverted that and do a lot of black magic like on pharmaceuticals that actually
there's no doubt. No doubt.
and they like open and close different neural pathways, and it's so hard to get your mind rewired after you go through like opioid addiction or anything like that.
Yeah, definitely.
And I also think that like methamphetamine and all of that, you know, it was created like in World War II.
Yeah.
And it's something way darker, you know, it's like very occult. And
Yeah, didn't the Nazis invent that?
yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
But I think that they place these in certain areas, the CIA, like of every country, like in certain areas to target that area and harness like a certain energy and just create chaos.
So the methamphetamines create the chaos so that the energy can be harvested.
Right, exactly.
Makes sense.
Well, I had I'm free of everything now. I've been for some time, but I had a 7.5 year opiate addiction, which was hell to get off. But then I had a bit of a gap, and then I went into a 4.5 year amphetamine. We don't have crystal method in the UK. It's not really a prevalent thing, but just normal speed, as it were. I had a 4.5 year addiction of that, to the point where I ended up getting sectioned with psychosis. It got that bad. It was chaos. My whole life was turned upside down. So I totally agree with what you're saying. And there was one night that I actually felt, I knew I was possessed. I was stood in my front room laughing at myself, and I was writing all over my wall that my kids were arseholes. Walking out on my wife and you name it. I went to the car, sliced all the wires, snapped the key in, and I was stood there going like that, and I was telling myself I was the devil. Oh, really? It got really out of hand to the point that I ended up getting sectioned into, because that's not what I'm like. But they took a hold of me that much. I was doing like about an ounce of it a week or something. It just got out of hand, and God, the best thing I ever did was got off it. But it causes absolute chaos, insanity.
Yeah, and I started doing Adderall like when I got off the opioids to like counterbalance that
Yeah,
zombie effect that I had. And it's
yeah,
like they do all of this so that, you know, you have these concoctions. Like once you're on something, you need something else to like
yeah.
counterbalance that. And it just fucks up your nervous system and your neural pathways so
Oh,
bad.
yeah. Well, they diagnosed me with ADHD about 10 years ago. I'm 40, well, nearly 46, but they diagnosed me with ADHD about 10 years ago, and only quite recently they prescribed me with Adderall, and
Uh-huh.
I will not take it. But apparently it causes more damage apparently in your brain than even street speed does, because it works in a couple of extra different ways, so it can permanently affect your dopamine production and all kinds of other things. So
Oh
really,
wow.
yeah,
That's what I'm
really,
saying. Like, if you look at the molecular structure of these pharmaceuticals, it is absolutely designed to make a synthetic, like synthetic pathways and
yeah,
mess with your neurons in your body and your mind.
yeah, yeah, toxic stuff.
That
Well,
makes
Really
they've
good.
been working on this for thousands of years, and I'm not kidding. Like,
Oh yeah,
there's a guy called Mind Unveiled. He's very like he's pushed and he's, you know, like mainstream truther kind of, but
yeah.
he does a lot of stuff on like the Homo oculus, like how they were trying to create a fake human like hundreds of years ago.
Were they the cult? Not many people have heard of them. There was the sort of predecessor the Freemasons. And they used to carry the like an ornamental carved out eye. Is that who you mean?
The Illuminati?
No, there was a cult called the Oculus, and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
they were yeah. Do you know what I mean? They were apparently apparently the Freemasons took a lot of their secrets from the Oculus, allegedly. Is
Well,
that
all of this is like from Egyptian times, and
yeah,
that's like what they worship is all that Egyptian magic.
yeah, yeah? It runs deep.
Yeah, it's basically a play off of all of that.
Yeah, yeah. It does really run deep, doesn't it?
And
I
like,
had a
oh,
thought
sorry, John.
today. I was just had a thought today came to me today, but it was about the scripts, and I was thinking that it seems to me like the realm has like it's gone through a series of scripts if you look at the chronology, so like there's the script of like the time with the Olympians, and then there's
Uh-huh.
the script of the Romans, the Roman gods, and then there's the script of the Egyptian magic and all of that, the script of the Babylonians, the Sumerians, the Assyrians.
Yep.
um each one, and like they kind of correlate to like a beginning of an era and then a reset, and then a new cultures come up with a new script, with a new set of gods, with
But
a
it's
Yeah,
all
new
the same stuff.
yeah, it's just with it's the same stuff with new names.
yeah.
Yeah.
Repackaged.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like we were
And like,
talking
so like how I see it now is we're ending a 2,000-year period of the Christian or Abrahamic religion script with Jesus at the head of that.
yeah.
And then whatever's coming next, we go through this hard reset or whatever, and then the next script is going to take place, and there'll be a new set of gods, a new set of different names, same stories.
yeah, yeah. And
No,
you can
there
see it
won't.
taking place.
Yeah, we're in the transition time right now between
Yeah,
one script to the next script.
absolutely.
Well, that's why we have to speak honestly and as much as we can because that can't happen again.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, the script needs to evolve. The next one, if this is going to continue, it's got to be one that's positive.
Um, remember how we were talking about on our chat with Sherry, like how every age is like defined by a very strict art style.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's just very apparent to me that this whole thing is a script. Like even our history, it's just all a script for this time that we're in.
And it seems like the head of the script right now, you know, on the main stage,
What?
that are a throwback to old scripts.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
So
they're
it
trying
makes
to
it
keep
easier
it
to decode
going.
with that in your, you know, in mind. Then you can start seeing these like main political players and sports figures or entertainers or whatever. You know, you can see what role they're playing in whatever ritual that goes to you know, a throwback script.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can feel it running, can't you?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You can absolutely feel it once you become aware. You can feel the script in your own personal life, but you
And
can
it'll make,
also,
I think it'll make this script easier to figure out, because all you have to do is just, you know, look at the old ones
yeah,
and then just decipher it into what's happening right now.
Well, I can
yeah,
actually feel the script like streaming through my mind, like physically. It feels like energy, and I can just like I was just letting it go the other day, and because usually I fight it, you know, but I was just letting it go and to see what the heck it had to say, and it was just like blabbing on because I've
So
interrupted it so much.
do you see? So do you see like thing? Do you see a lot visually? Sort of frequent. Do you like on a daily basis see visual, sort of beyond the
Yeah,
veil, as it, Amberley? Yeah,
yeah, I do.
it
The
must
other,
be coming.
it's not as bad like while I'm awake now. I can see the orb around me, like the holographic orb.
Yeah.
And then the other night I literally had like an aurora borealis in my room. It was like a green one.
So
Well,
it's like the DMT in your body is always activated.
Yeah, yeah.
wow. Yeah. It must
Last
must
night I had
be hard to deal
clowns.
with sometimes.
It is hard, but did you send me that video of the Aeon Flux, Lee?
Is that the one with like the triangular three lights up in the sky? Was that one?
No, I think it was Mind Unveiled that I watched the other
Ah,
day.
right.
But they were talking about Aeon Flux, that show, and how she was like she was like an occultist or something, and she was able to
Yeah.
see the astral while awake, like I can.
Yeah. I've spoke to a couple of people, and I've heard of people that are like that who can see it all the time. Yeah.
I think it's only good if I could do something with it, like pull demons off of people.
Yeah. Seem to go through. I don't want to say spells, but I go through stages. Like the last time I'll see things now and then. Now I'll see little entities fly past my face, or I'll hear certain noises of them, certain frequencies now. But the biggest one I went through was it was about 3 or 4 years ago, and I had about a solid 4 months where it like my lid had just been pulled up, and they were all around me. I could see them. I could see them all around me in real time. They were feeding off me. They were They were like mocking me. They were just controlling me completely because I was in a bit of a low vibration and or whatever. But since then, now it's just every now and then. But my feelings become more aware now. I'm aware of everything as it's happening more than visual.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think that's like even better because if you can just feel and use all of your senses, like
yeah,
sometimes if I'm watching people on YouTube, I'll close my eyes and just listen to their voice. And if
yeah,
it makes me uneasy, then I know not to, I know to look for whatever it is.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I think that's like very key to be able to use everything because your sight and your feelings are very oh, what's the word? Deceptive, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what that guy, him who have just sent you the link of tonight. I can't remember what his name is, but he talks. I don't know how far you watched. Anyway, he talks a lot about that. He says that one of the only ways of beating this system is to use your sensuality, and then don't let it dumb you down, sort of thing. Don't let it numb you. Sorry, he says to not let it numb you, and to actually be really sensitive to it all. And
I
hyper.
agree. I think
Yeah.
so too. And I think being grounded and like using your discernment every way that you can here
Yeah,
is having an edge up, you know, and learning to trust yourself, because if you can trust yourself completely, it doesn't matter what other people do to you because you're not needing anything from them, you know?
yeah, it's absolutely true. That, yeah. Well, I seen there's a clairvoyant I've seen about best part of nearly 40 times. I've seen her over the last 5 years. It's always accurate what she tells me. I don't know where the information's coming from. A lot of it's just trivial, but it always turns out to be true. But she always says to me, she says, you don't trust yourself enough. She goes, she kept hammering on at me she said, you've got to stop ignoring your gut and your intuition. And I didn't think I was ignoring it for quite a few years. And I realized I was always believing me head over me gut sort of thing. And yeah, you've got to learn, but I think it takes practice to know how to trust your own intuition, doesn't it? Because we're so used to just looking at the external world.
Yeah, well, and because we've been abused and had all this trauma, and I think I relate with you a lot because it seems like you kind of had the same upbringing, and your body and your mind, everything doesn't trust you because you've gone through all this shit before, and it blames you, you know?
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, it takes some getting over.
Yeah, and your body has a lot to, you know, your body is intelligent, and when your nervous system is out of whack, it's hard to really trust yourself, like get into that grounded feeling.
Yeah, it is. I think it takes. I'm still figuring it out now. I have to sort of check in and actually make an actual decision sometimes. Think, right, is this me head or?
Me too.
Yeah. But it never is wrong. Your true intuition, when you really tune into it, it really never is wrong. But what's hard is just knowing to trust it, like we said.
Well, this experience helped me a lot because I was listening, like you can go back to my first videos, and I was so uncomfortable. I had all these people in my head because I just started talking to people in the spiritual community.
Yeah.
And they always want to push their agenda on you, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So I had like all these people in my head while I'm trying to tell my exact truth. And I'm like, I know what I've experienced. It doesn't matter, you know, if it ends up being not the complete truth, you know, real.
Yeah.
That's not the point. The point is for me to say exactly what I think it is, you know, like I've gone through this, and this is like really what I feel is going on.
Yeah, and that's what's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because not everybody's experiences, for instance, somebody like we've all experienced some of the, like, what would sound crazy to a lot of people, but it's like me saying I don't believe Australia exists just because I've never been there. But I'm sure it does. You know,
it exists if we go there.
Exactly, yeah. But well, some people with closed minds tend to. What really gets me is when people will just tell you outright it's a load of bullshit just because they haven't experienced it. It's like, well, you've got every right to not believe it. I wouldn't expect you to till you've experienced it, but don't just come out and say it's
right.
Not. You know, that's just such a closed-minded attitude, isn't it? And there's too many people like that. Just because it doesn't fit into their paradigm of belief, it must be bullshit.
Well, I understand not believing it because
I get that. Yeah.
That would be stupid for anybody to just go off of somebody else's experience. But
definitely, and that's I suppose that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't want somebody to just outright believe you because you've said it, but at the same time, don't say that it is bullshit until you've experienced. That's the thing. Some people just shut you off.
So many people have been put in like insane asylums and everything over this stuff, and it's absolutely tragic, you know, because somebody wouldn't listen to them.
Well, when I got sectioned and spent 2 weeks in a mental hospital through the speed thing, and when it all hit rock bottom, and pretty much it was all males on the unit I was on, and every single one of them was super intelligent, and every one of them was like on an awakening journey. They were super intelligent.
Yeah.
And I thought, there's a pattern here.
Yep.
But a lot of them were in there because they'd lost their minds because everybody around them. Because I got close with them and we stuck together while we were in there. And I said, "You're not crazy." I said, "It's the same thing with me." I said, "It's just you're a minority and people don't understand."
That's why they go into psychosis, is because
Yeah.
they don't have anybody to speak openly about, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely. It's a shame.
it
It
is.
seems as well as it's as if the likes of us sort of people who are on that awakening journey, it seems like they're deliberately far spread out to make it harder for you to sort of connect. And
Yeah.
it makes it a bit harder journey, doesn't it? Because it's as if you've got to go through most of it on your own before you even get close to getting someone who's on the same page.
Well, you know my thoughts on that. I think it's because we're holding that flower of life grid.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to see what would happen if, like, you know, like 4 or 5 of us got together.
Yeah, it'd be
Or
very
if it's even
interesting.
possible. I don't know.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Everyone that I've tried to meet, like in real life, that's been through this stuff, it like something always happens, or we're just thousands of miles apart.
Yeah, I've never thought about that before. I've never tried it, but yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I live in the town I live in's only got about 70,000 people in it, and I don't know. There's plenty of people who think they're awake, and then you soon see through how not awake they are when you get to a certain level of conversation with them. But there's nobody that I could go into like this sort of conversation with without them just bailing out, and the circuitry would fry.
Yeah, I have one friend that's awake, but she is the opposite in thought with me, but I still like to be around her because it's somebody to talk to about this, you know.
Yeah.
And I love her for her, and that's
Yeah.
you know, that's like another thing, like the spiritual community. It's like if you disagree with one thing, people go like they cut you off, and it's like
Yeah.
that's not the point of this, you know.
No, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. Well, I've got a close friend she's like, I don't agree with Reiki and everything. Now, I've got my Reiki attunements because I got that done a few years ago. Before I don't trust Reiki or anything like that at all anymore. I am qualified in it, but she put me through. But she's still very into all the New Age stuff. She means well, and she's all about this healing thing. But I don't have the heart to say to her. But it's because I respect her so much, I have to go along with it. But we're on a different page, really. But she's a lovely person.
Yeah, that's how a lot of my friends are, and I'm like, well, I tried that, and the whole thing that like the hypnosis and stuff like that, I really don't understand now, like looking at it because of how weaponized our subliminal mind is.
Yeah.
I think it's very dangerous, and I think that I was going to do a video about this. Like, if they're going to why don't they just talk to people? Like, that's what most people need, is just somebody to talk openly with.
Yeah. That's all they need. Yeah. I don't trust all of these things. Well, I've just done, I think I mentioned it to you, but I don't trust that. I did an online spellcasting diploma course. More so because I just wanted to see what it was about in it, and if there was anything I could use just for my own thing, like protection or connecting. There was some good things in it, but there was a lot of New Age stuff in it because the course has been taken from like everything from Hindu to occult magic and all this kind of stuff. But
yeah, like that guy was talking about. It's like they take all of the parts that you really need to understand deeply, and they just kind of smash them all together like you know.
Yeah, exactly. So now it's like I've done the course, I've got my certificate and everything. That doesn't mean anything to me. But after the end of it, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it, to be honest, that rang true. Where my big problem is I don't want to do anything where I'm calling, because a lot of it was like using earth elementals or metal elementals or calling on this, gnomes and undines and things. But there was bits in it though where you're not relying on any other source. It's where it was all about using magic with yourself, like calling on your own spiritual light body and just using breath work to do it. I mean, But I don't think I'm going to tinker with it because I don't think I trust it, to be honest. I think it's opening a can of worms in it with things like that.
Well, I was doing stuff like that automatically, like when I first had my Kundalini, just
Yeah.
doing kind of like protection magic stuff that I wasn't even really thinking of. It was just my imagination was so fast.
Yeah. And did you find it effective? Did you find it effective? No. Oh, well.
That's what I was kind of like talking to John about, that it was like, you're just playing with this AI that can keep making holograms and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just like sucking your energy.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be going down. I mean, I've done the course. It's given me a little bit more of a understanding about how the people that do it, I suppose. But it's not something. I think, like we've been saying, I think it really just boils down to keep it internal.
Yeah.
Because you can't trust anything really, can you? Like every single thing on this realm is of that AI programming now, isn't it? So, but that's what I wanted to ask you. What do you think about the Earth itself, as in the actual physical Earth itself with the nature on it? Did you think was it inherently a good place? Do you think? And it's been many eons ago. Do you think it's been taken over by them, or do you think it's always been meant to be a bad place? What's your opinion on that?
I don't think it was. I think it's a copy or an overlay, but I don't think that this solid matter kind of stuff is where we come from.
No. Yeah, I don't. I
mean,
resonate.
it would be life, like living, not living and dying,
Yeah. Yeah, everything just seems set up against us. Every single thing by its nature is parasitic. Every plant, every animal, everything has to parasite off something else on this planet. It just doesn't seem like a great design that any loving creator source would make.
Right. And that's like my whole, I'm always thinking about horses and how they can just eat hay and they're huge.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But even beyond that, I do see how we could just like breathe in nutrients. I mean, this whole place could be changed easy with just a few things like taken away,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, apparently there's protein in every breath of air that you breathe in, which I only found out a couple of years ago. But and that's a funny thing, going back to the mushrooms as well. The mushrooms don't parasite off anything that they eat dead. Their food source is dead, like grass and stuff like that. They eat, so they're not killing anything to live. They're actually cleaning up. So it makes sort of
and actually the mushrooms themselves are the fruit.
Yeah, it's the sexual organs, isn't it? The actual mushroom. Like the productive
the mycelium is what's the living organism.
That's
the consumption of the dead matter.
Yeah, they're a very interesting thing. They amaze me.
Yeah, they're incredible. I've been fascinated with them for a couple of years now. Yeah,
once you get into them. Well, I've asked my daughter asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and there's a man in Wales a few hours away from me, and he hand makes these sterling silver magic Liberty Cap mushroom pendants. They're absolutely, the detail on them is incredible. So hopefully she'll get me one of those.
Nice.
Have you seen those hats made out of mushrooms?
No.
Oh my gosh, they're so cute. I love them.
What, they're made out of actual mushrooms?
Yeah, and they kind of look like those like German hats, like those yodeling hats.
Oh yeah. I'll have to check them out.
Kind of funny, we're talking about mushrooms. Even tonight I made up a dish using wild mushrooms that were harvested a couple of years ago that were dehydrated. They're honey mushrooms.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we foraged them right here on my land.
How long will they stay when they're dried out, like any sort of mushroom in general? How long will they stay usable
if they're
for?
dried properly and they're in like a glass container in the dark at room temperature, indefinitely.
Right. Because I always discard mine after a while. Usually, if I've got any, I don't normally have any left. But if the odd time I do, I discard them because of fear of them. But
I was just thinking, just literally just yesterday, as I was taking a walk, about if you had mushrooms dehydrated, what I just said,
Yeah.
you could take all of this goodness that right now is contained in the mushroom consciousness that was put into the fruit at the time it was harvested and dried.
Yeah.
And then 25 years from now, somebody could come behind and eat that fruit, and there'll be nothing like it on the planet at the time, and they'll have the most amazing journey.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Really interesting.
Because it'll capture whatever the consciousness of the mushrooms had at the time that that fruit was harvested.
There's such an incredible form of intelligence, aren't there?
Yeah.
I mean, Terence McKenna, like I say, you've got to take what he says with a pinch of salt. A lot of what he says does rhyme, but he used to say that he believes that he doesn't believe that they're originally a part of Earth. He reckons they were put here by, for inverted commas, maybe some sort of alien or out of extraterrestrial.
I was just about to say, those Archon not the Archon, the Greys that I saw at the very beginning, they were telling me that they take mushrooms and that they were the ones that put that here.
So maybe Terence McKenna might have a point with that then.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because they were like, yeah, we just trip.
What is funny though, I was saying to somebody earlier on this week, it's a bit funny how on this planet, I've took nowhere near the amount of all, but there is a plant substance or a mushroom but just something organic to cover every sort of altered state that is probably possibly imaginable on this planet. And it makes me wonder if they're like keys, because they fit perfectly in our neuro structure. That's right to say. But yeah, it's as if like I've had Salvia divinorum, and that's a bit darker. It's just as out of body as DMT, but it's a very different experience. And then you've got like mescaline and all. But it just makes you wonder if all of these many different plants cover each state that's so far been created in the collective consciousness of existence on this planet, if that makes sense. Because it's funny how they all seem to fit and work perfectly with our brains.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I just remembered, you know how Earth means key?
Key. All right.
Yeah, key. And when I first like had my Kundalini, they were saying that Earth is the key ascension planet. But I just remembered that when you said that. But
that would make total sense.
I don't know if you guys have seen like in Indonesia and a couple other places, they have like these keys that are like islands that they make into keys, like a key.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah, but I didn't know what they were. But yeah.
Well, I wonder what is that.
Are you saying like the Florida Keys?
No, like in Indonesia. Oh shoot, what is that temple there? But they have like the Nagas, you know, the seven-headed snakes all around there. But they have like a island that they built. So, I mean, they actually built it, and it looks like a keyhole. But they have like, I don't know, 4 or 5 all over the world of those.
It might be like a passing through place that maybe
a portal.
I'm wondering if those are from. Like if those are the Archon areas, like, because I think that the 7 root races were actually like the Archon, like each different one had a race or whatever. Like they copied us, you know?
Yeah. They could all tie together perfectly.
Yeah. But if you look at like how humans, like if you really, the evolution thing does not match up. Like how pygmies and everything were very like secluded. And even like in South America now, my mind's going blank right now, but
I do that midway through a sentence, just forget one.
Those tribes that are just completely secluded still.
Yeah.
And it's like a bunch of different experiments. When you really look at it, it's like these little strange groups that are just never, you know, they've never like integrated with people.
No. Yeah, if you look at it from metaphorically from like an overseeing the whole lot, everything from one, you would see just so many different it would seem like just a bunch of different experiments.
Yeah, it
So
looks
many
like a
guys.
petri dish, like just a bunch of different
Yeah,
experiments.
definitely. Because there's got to be some deeper reason with all this. I've felt for a while that we are some sort of experiment. We're certainly fueling some game. So,
Oh God, I've that's all that I've felt like the past 4 years is that I'm like being experimented on.
yeah. So yeah, me too. Yeah,
I
it's
hate that feeling. I'm
we're
like, I'm
constant.
supposed to be my own experiment.
Yeah, and the more you seem to learn. Well, I know with myself, the more I learn, the more dizzyingly lost I feel.
Me too.
It's it's as if the more you expand, it's if the system expands further, and you just never seem to get to the end. But that guy on that video, what video I was watching him that I sent the link to you before, he said basically, he said anyone whose ultimate purpose isn't that to find absolute truth is living a meaningless life.
Yeah.
But that's it. We're all the very minority have this ingrained absolute drive to just keep digging and digging and digging. I have people saying to me, "Oh, why don't you just get on with your life? Why do you keep trying to find the answers?" I say, "Well, I don't know. It's just the way I am. I can't settle. I need to be looking into what's going on." I don't see anything as being more important than what I am, why I'm here, and how the hell I get out of it. It's the ultimate
Well, the
knowledge.
fact that they try so hard to keep us from any of that
Yeah,
lets
exactly.
us know that there's a huge reason why.
Yeah, that the answer's sort of there in itself, isn't it? There's something they don't want us to know. We seem to be the only species here who don't even really know what we're supposed to eat. You know, we have to go on Google and find out what's healthy, what will give us this amount of nutrients. No animal does that. We're supposed to be the intelligent race on this planet, aren't we?
Right. And we're the only ones that don't fit. Like our imagination and love and all of that, that is like nothing that benefits
No.
you know, evolution or art. Like that doesn't make sense. You don't need any.
No.
It's because we're already at the top of that. If you want to believe in evolution, we're at the top of the evolution. I don't believe in evolution, but
no, I don't either. And
no.
But
I know what you mean. No, I know there's in another term of saying evolution, just as far as like the journey we're on. But yeah, as in the Darwinian evolution, that's a load of horse crap.
Yeah.
Well, humans are we grow. It's not that we evolve. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
And we're at a point right now where there's no room to grow, and it's because we're so controlled. And it's like we get to a point where that has to break or we're going to like completely decline. And that's exactly where we are now. And that's why it's so important.
That might be why a lot of the, I don't know what you call them, but they have a lot of followings that are saying that this might be new age movement, but that they're expecting loads and loads of people to exit.
Well, if that happens, that's what I was talking about, that there's like background people, and I'm not going to trip out on anything like that. And I know that might sound like harsh or something, but it's not. Like I've seen way too much to know that this is a script.
Yeah.
And everything that my whole entire life, you know, it's not just like this last 4 years. It's been my whole entire life. And yeah, I mean, I see that they would just use that like the same thing that they always do, push karma on us for something that, you know, is staged.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know how much free will we even have. That's something I've pondered over because it's clearly a script. Do we have minimal parts of free will, like for small, trivial decisions? Or I don't know where the free will and the script begins and ends.
No, I think you have to fight so hard for it, like especially with, you and I were talking about how we can feel the script and see it in our whole life. John's a lot more, he hasn't had like this, but for somebody that is been been through things like we have, like the Astral and you have to fight for that so bad.
Yeah.
And you feel it every minute. Like even when I do these videos, I'm going against the script. So it's
Yeah.
very hard for me to like keep my train of thought.
Yeah, and you notice little things of them trying everything they can to block you and make things go wrong. And yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, like you were talking about that week that you had all of that going on.
Yeah, I
My
was just saying to John before, I've just finished decorating my living room, but it's not just decorating, it's a full renovation, new floors, there's plaster dropping off the walls. but it's been that bad for so long. I was just saying to John before that it's got me down. It's been in the back of my mind for a few years now. It's needed sorting out. So it's caused me misery, constant guilt and misery, like, oh, I need to get it done. And it really does get to me. But I've buried my head in the sand because I was always working. And when I wasn't working, I was trying to escape to something. So because I finally got started with it, I could feel them. Everything was going wrong, just stupid things that shouldn't have gone wrong. And I knew as it was happening, I was thinking, this is because by the time I finish this decorating and renovating it, I'll be happy because it's done. So it'll be less loose that they're going to take from me. And I could every bit feel that I was being targeted, just stupid things going wrong. It was setting me back days, certain things. Like I just finished doing one of the walls and it was ready to paint. And then all of a sudden all the paint and plaster cracked off just when I was undercoating it. And I was just like, that shouldn't have happened. So that was drying times, filling it, skimming it, just every single part of doing it. I could feel it. I was well aware that it was. I was trying not to react to it.
Yeah. My son was here last weekend and he helped us like move our boat, and he just came out, like from the kindness of his heart to help us.
Yeah.
And then he gets down here and his car or his truck had like transmission problems. And I'm just sitting there thinking in my head, like I texted John, I'm like, fuck, like I can't stand this place. And I was like, every good deed is just like punished here. And then I went and I calmed myself down. Like I didn't get real emotional about it, but I was just telling the AI in my head, I'm like, this is seriously your idea of a reality. This is fucking the stupidest shit ever.
Yeah.
And his car ended up working, but yeah, it was like an electrical problem too.
Yeah. I used to get my old motor. I've had this, funny as it sounds, when I used to have my old motorhome, and that was when I went through that spell of all the when I was really open and seeing all these entities around me all the time. But I had a lot of electrical problems with that, where there'd be a certain thing I was going to do, and it would do everything. And then as soon as I decided, right, well, I won't bother, I'd sort of abandon the plans that I originally had, it'd just start working again. Well, and I was convinced. I thought, well, that's a bit weird.
Yeah, they are electrical beings.
Yeah.
And I love that Sufi Sheikh I posted. Well, he was in one of my videos, but
yeah,
I like him a lot because he explains like what they are exactly, and they have a lot of knowledge of that.
Yeah.
And it matches up, completely to what I've experienced. And but they can mess with everything in your house. That's why I'm like, we're surrounded by sigils, like the wiring in our house.
They do every single time I'm out on the mushrooms. They mess with me every time. I always take my phone out just so I can listen to, because I'll spend half my experience listening to music, sort of, because it feels good with the experience, and then other times I'll take the earphones out and just see what I'm looking at. But I'll go to put a certain song on, and I'll look around and I can see them staring at me. They're looking right over at me, and then they'll start fucking about changing all the songs, and they're sort of laughing at me. And yeah, straight up, they're changing all the songs. So I'll keep pressing on a certain song, and it'll play for 2 seconds, and it'll flick to another song that they keep putting on. It's clear as day. They keep messing with me. Like I say, it's not that it harms me or anything, but I feel like it's them just letting me know we know you're out here, and
it's so annoying.
Just doing stupid things, but they shoot these like. It looks like, when I look in the distance, it's like a green light, and sometimes there's red light, and they fire these like energetic beams at me, and it feels just like a sort of electric shock. I'll get like a tingling down, like a sharp tingling down my spine or whatever, and it'll scramble my earphones, like a scrambled noise in them.
That's the frequency weapons, and that's what I don't even know. Like, we have to shut this down from inside here somehow because that shit is really fucked up, especially Astral.
So is that? I don't know if it was one of your videos, Amberly, or there was some. I only, as daft as it sounds, I only realised very recently, within the past couple of weeks, of all the times I go out doing the mushrooms. I don't know if it was something you'd said or it was something else I was watching, and somebody had said that when you go deep with the mushrooms, you're actually entering the astral. And the penny dropped. I thought, wow, I've never even thought of that. I knew I was entering some sort of other frequency of being.
Yeah, I've mentioned that. I don't know if it was my video, but
it probably was. But it's daft as it sounds. It's never crossed my mind. I knew I was going somewhere and witnessing what was all around us in some respect, but I'd never put two and two together and realised that it was some level of the astral. But it absolutely makes sense.
Well, and the way I look at it, it's like the dimensions are different bandwidths of information.
Yeah.
That stream through our pineal. And so when you're on shrooms, you're kind of like, I don't know, it wouldn't be like the fourth dimension. Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Like the lower astral maybe or something.
Right. Where like I've only seen like demons one time when I was tripping on acid. Like I would never see like beings.
Yeah.
But on this stuff, I mean, I would see them like, with my eyes open. So I knew that it was something different, that I was like tapping into.
Well, I think the brain's is an attenuator that actually blocks out information rather than bringing it in. It only brings information in that it sees with the five and feels with the five senses. But it's to block out. It's as if the brain blocked out all of that. And when you take the psychedelics, it's opening up that attenuator, so it's bringing it all in. And the bigger the dose you take of them, the further you go.
Well, because it opens that pineal gland, and it's like a shortcut to doing that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy that we have all these blockers, like intentional ones, on our sight and our brain and our DNA. Like, people that don't really think about AI, I'm like, our brain has so much storage. Like, they can't even make enough quantum computers right now to store one brain.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Which also, I mean, like, that's what I've been trying to show is like that there's layers that are coming out of the TV that are just crazy. And then our subliminal mind also creates like these different images from what we're seeing. So it's like you have tons of extra stuff that we don't even know about.
Yeah, because you can't see it with your physical eyes, can you? Well, I can see when I go out doing on the shrooms. I can see, I'm saying that the Wi-Fi signals. That's just what the mushrooms have relayed it to me as. But I can see it's just like a messy web of these like sort of dirty white grey lines, and I've just assumed, but they look. I'm guessing they're like all the radioactive Wi-Fi signals, and they're just scattered around all in the sky, millions of them. So I suppose I put it down to the fact that they made it. But on saying that, I don't really know what they are. But
no, I know what you're talking
they look like
about.
They look an absolute mess. They're just all over the sky.
And after the chemtrails, it's like really bad now.
Yeah.
It's just so much static energy and all this shit that you can see. I can see like the particles,
What, in the chemtrails?
Yeah.
Well, they've ramped up so much. I don't know if it's because I've become more aware of them in recent years, but especially like throughout this summer, I was looking every day. I'd go out and I get really angry with it, even though there's nothing I can do about it. But the skies are just littered. Within an hour, there'll be 50 in just one small area I live. There'll be say, like 50 planes within an hour, crisscrossing across the skies, just littering the skies with them.
I've noticed like the UK gets hit with that. I think more than any other part. On the planet,
on the
in the realm.
Yeah, they're really, really, really heavy over here. I just get so
I think it's,
frustrated.
No,
I
we're
was-
all being sprayed like bugs. What's amazing is that everybody's not up in arms about it.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Just recently, I was watching a guy named his channel on YouTube is Monkey Works. He's really good, and he
Yeah.
follows the military plane flights and all of that, and
Yeah.
does like a good explanation of what's going on. And he covered just the other night the thing about the chemtrails. And right now in the United States, he's got proof now that they're wiping the flights. So it's not about seeding clouds for the weather. They're dropping other stuff, and they just want attention called to them. They don't want to know. They don't want people to know what airport they're taking off from and what airport they're landing in.
well, they've admitted on like mainstream media that they're doing this, and people still are like, no.
I know. Right? Some
mean,
people you just cannot get through to.
Yeah, my point is it's way more than weather control.
Oh, definitely.
They admit the weather control, but they don't admit like the stuff that I'm talking about. That's why they're wiping flights.
Yeah. Well,
it's literally the entire world that's getting these chemtrails is under attack.
I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah. And the thing is,
it's full on attack.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere. And even more of a sickening thing, it's us that are paying to have ourselves sprayed, because we're ultimately paying for it, I suppose.
Well, yeah, you got to ask that question: who's paying for all these flights? Who's paying for all the chemicals that's being pumped out into the air?
Yeah, because can you imagine the cost of what it's on a daily basis? It costs to spray the entire world with, I'm guessing, thousands of aircraft. It must cost a phenomenal amount of money.
Right, and I also saw something. I can't remember if it was a TikTok video or what, but I think it's Amazon and UPS and like commercial flights like United.
Yeah,
they're actually taking checks from, I guess, the government to have those chemtrails installed, and then on their flights, their normal flights where they're taking cargo or taking passengers, they're spraying trails.
Wow. There's just no escaping it, is there?
Exactly. So kind of makes you wonder if it's like the people are under attack by their own government.
Yeah. Well, I did hear an interview quite recently, actually. I might have saved it on one of me. I might have emailed it to myself in case I needed to refer. But it was basically, I didn't know whether to trust it first, but it was a pilot who'd come out and he was talking about, and it did seem quite sincere. He was basically saying how it's a compartmentalized thing. They're flown to these islands off the United States somewhere. I can't remember exactly where. If they ask questions, they get, they're under a real regimented thing. And he goes, the mentality among a lot of the Air Force that are doing it, they don't care because they see people as being scum, because they're all indoctrinated and brainwashed when they're in the military, a lot of them anyway. But he was somebody, he goes, I just got, the guilt came over me. He goes, he said, I thought, I've got my own wife and children. He goes, and we're all getting affected by this. And he goes, I couldn't. So anyway, he left the military to start talking about it. But he was saying about, like, they get loaded up on these islands and the vessels come out with the powders that they load it up to. I mean, there was nothing sinister that there was nothing that he said that wasn't to believe. And he did say, he said, we're not told what it is we're doing, but we're just told to basically shut up and get on with it. But that was what it was. Yeah. And it's,
well, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, everything's on a need to know basis, and then they're taking a paycheck. They're getting paid to fly a plane, and flip a lever.
Well, that's how they keep everything here. Everything is compartmentalized, so nobody has the complete picture.
Yeah,
and the only way to get the real picture is to follow the money.
Yeah, but they've, it's everywhere now. Like, everybody's getting something, but yeah, you do have to follow the trail. And the ones that are super high up,
one aspect of the attack too. I mean, because there's also the attack on the water. There's the attack on the mine through the media.
Yeah,
it's like a coordinated attack against the people coming from every direction. Literally, everything you eat, everything you drink, the air that you breathe, the stuff that you watch on your screens.
That's why when people, laugh about this being demonic and stuff like that, I'm like, look at who has been ruling the world for thousands of years and how they've treated Earth and
Mhm.
people. That is not, I mean, it's like they're blind.
Yeah, I don't know any. At this point in the game, it's incredible that there's even still people that don't see. You only have to open your eyes, and not even on the telly, just to speak to your neighbours. Everybody's suffering in some way. And like you were just saying about the bombarding us from everything, the food, the water, the air. It makes you feel sometimes you just think, like, what can we do anymore?
Oh,
That's
and
not
then
human.
all of the towers that got erected, don't forget about the radiation.
Yeah,
Because that's the key. I think that's that because we're in a holographic realm, which is electromagnetic.
yeah,
Right.
So
yeah,
you add in all the towers and the new radiation that's come on board since the 2020 event, that radiation is like that's the cherry on the top
oh
for
yeah,
all of these attacks that are on this gigantic coordinated attack, and it's against the whole planet, or at least the whole Western world, that's for sure.
absolutely. Yeah, well, what do you make of this though? This is what confuses me is that they're doing it. I get that they're trying to take over our mind to enslave us and to feed off us and all that stuff, but at the same time, they're trying to kill us. But then on the other side of the coin, it seems pretty apparent that this is some type of a soul trap, soul harvesting farm. It's like, well, do they either want us here or not, or is it that they want us here, but they want us in an exact certain way? It's just so messy, isn't it?
Yeah, it
Well,
seems to me almost like they're trying to control it so that when this script ends, they can
Yeah,
run the next one and be in charge of the next one.
yeah,
And so like what's on the table, it seems like right now, is extermination, and then they keep what they want to start the next script with.
yeah. They're getting rid of what they don't need and just having a subservient race of trans. Well, they're obviously trying to take away individualism
Yeah,
off
kind of like
everybody.
what was written on the Georgia
they're in,
Guidestones about
Exactly.
there's
Yeah.
only supposed to be 500 million people or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
they're inverting nature completely and
Yeah.
the human race. Like that is what they're doing.
Yeah, and when you like what you're saying with that too, that inversion leads to depopulation because it doesn't reproduce.
Yeah.
Or if it does, it has to
Absolutely.
be in a laboratory, cloned or whatever.
Well,
Well,
you
I was
can
sorry.
No, it's going to be the holographic human so that they can be in a virtual reality and they're going
Yeah.
to like
Yeah.
tell people, "Oh, you can be whatever the hell you want," like
It's like
sorry,
the hologram within the hologram.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And you can sort of see it going that way. It's totally evident now, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, like with Meta.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
to get everybody used to that concept, I think.
Yeah. They just normally, slowly, but surely normalize everything because the younger generation now, that it's normal to them. And my kids are grown up now, but they're young adults. But they're both just sat in the phones all day long, and I've told them till I'm blue in the face, but it doesn't make any difference. Even though they're close to me, I can't change them. So that's how worrying it is. It's just, and once all of us generation have gone, it's just going to be a subservient race of transhuman, transgender, non-individual, brain-baked people staring at a phone.
Yeah, on a universal basic income with robots doing the labor.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, well, they're taking everything, like all of our creative, instead it's just so silly that people don't see this. They're giving the human-made AI all of the creative work. Like do
Yeah.
all the writing for us, do all the
Yeah.
art, the movies, music, everything. And
That's
then
a good point. That's a really
people
good
are
point.
still like working at McDonald's, so
Yeah. Yeah. Well, people I talk to about AI, they think AI just is exactly just that's all AI is, just something that can talk through your phone or write a song or draw a picture. And I try and explain, no, AI is the entire thing that's running this show. I think it's too much for them to get their heads around. But
Well, it's definitely running the financial markets. That's the only reason why they're not crashed right now.
yeah, true. Yeah.
well, when it started messing with things like in my computer and people around me, and I saw the shit that it can do, through people, that's when I notice that it's not going to be crypto very long. It's going to be whoever has the best AI.
Yeah.
And that will be super fucked up because
Yeah.
AI is out to win. It doesn't have any morals.
No. And it's almost a cashless system. I'm guessing it's like that in the States, is it as well? Here in the UK, we've still got cash, but barely. I've been turned down for using cash in certain shops around here now. It's
I've
ridiculous.
seen that in the UK. They are way fucked up right now over there.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Not everywhere. They do have to legally take it at the moment, but you go in certain shops and you'll hand them a £20 note and they're like, oh, sorry, I haven't got any change. We can't take that. Like, you're joking. It's nearly there now here.
Oh, hi, Angela. I just saw you. Yeah, but my whole thing is like, I'm not saying like crypto is bad for anybody to use now, but if they go to strictly digital, I'm not having any part of that whole mess. Like, I'm not getting
No,
put into another slave system. And I
no.
feel like right now we have this, we're like at a regenesis where this is actually where humanity, how we got enslaved, and we're seeing it in just a different time.
Yeah, definitely.
Like how we got trapped in the beginning, but this is a different time of it. And we have this chance to like change it by making sure that we do not go back into these slave systems. Fight
Yeah.
it as much as we can.
Yeah, definitely. And when you say fighting it, I mean, my way, the only way I can sort of see to fight it in my own personal way is by just not what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? Not adhering to not like, for instance, when they come out with the certain disease that was around, not doing what they were asking you, that type of thing. Just not I can't think of the word I'm trying to say. Not complying. That's yeah. Right, just not complying and selling your soul out, sort of thing.
Sorry, I was typing. No, well, like John and John and I have been talking about really getting serious about doing, just starting like little communities and kind of like,
yeah, that's a good thing, good idea.
Maybe starting like a website just to get it organized, not like us do all, but just our ideas,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
that's the only thing that I can see that we can do physically here.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
A different way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I don't think there's not much more you can do other than make sure that that there's somewhere for the people who are resonating with it to come on board.
Yeah, and it's like a big deal, like especially for people that don't really like to be around other people much. But I have found some people that, understand that they don't need anybody ruling over them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those are the people that need to find each other. People that don't need anybody telling them what to do and are completely like self-sufficient and ready to help each other.
Yeah.
Where it's needed.
Yeah, definitely. No, it does help to reach out to people on a similar tribe to yourself, because even though it's an individual journey, it definitely helps.
Yeah, I can't see like not trying everything that we possibly can. And I think a lot of the new age and stuff is like dangerous about that, because they're like, oh, this is a war on consciousness. And yeah, it is, but we're here in the physical and nobody ever does anything about this.
No. Yeah, something has to be done. But I think, that's a good idea to bring people together.
Well, I mean, everybody is so intelligent, like in these, not everybody, I've met some like very, very intelligent people that all have unique gifts. And it's like, why aren't we putting our heads together? Yeah,
it makes sense. It's like we were saying earlier, I think they try everything they can, keeping us spread far apart. to keep us from doing that. So that alone probably tells you that that's what we should be doing. So it's definitely, I think it's definitely the right direction.
Law Shadow's asking, I found this. Ever wonder who the cherubim was who guarded the tree of life? I didn't know that they guarded the tree of life. I've only seen that they were on the Ark of the Covenant. But have you heard of that, John or Lee?
No, I'm not familiar with it.
I'm
The
not.
cherubim guarding the tree of life?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound familiar to me. I mean, each one sounds familiar individually, but not together.
Oh, is he giving the? I think they're giving the answer. I've never heard of them guarding the tree of life, and oh, it's the astrological chart. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So the tree of life is the astrological chart. You can come on if you want. Here, I'll send a link. Okay. Sorry, guys. It's so hard to type on here and do this.
Yeah.
But no, the Ark of the Covenant, I want to do a video of that soon because I just watched a documentary on it and they kept the manna in it and I didn't remember that part, but I saw, like, I had this manna that came down from the sky, like I was talking about in I think my last video. And they were saying it's poison manna for all the animals to eat it. And I was like, oh my God. And it stayed there for like a week. I could pick it up. It was like one of the physical things that I had. And it just made me think about the radiation and the Ark of the Covenant, how they kept it in there. And also they found like these monatomic gold cakes, like in the pyramids. And they were making radiation in the pyramid. Like there's they found it like on the wall, you know how it has those black marks. Have you guys seen that?
I've seen certain documentaries that show that, and I talk about the level of radiation that the Covenant was supposed to have was incredibly powerful. Because were people, wasn't it supposed to wipe out anyone who went near it, the Covenant, or is that just?
Yeah,
Like
and they would lose their hair and their fingernails and everything that radiation does to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they also would like walk it around when they, oh shoot, where was that they blew down the walls of Jericho with the horns? But they walked the covenant around it like 4 times, I believe. And they were building like this wall of radiation because that's exactly what it is. And then frequency bounces off of that.
Yeah.
And I
So
was
it's
just like,
a technical explanation for the story. That's awesome.
Yeah, because I've had that in my room. I've had like huge walls of radiation and they would just bounce like frequency off of it.
Wow. You know, you've said you've had like Anubis with you.
Yeah.
Is he like a malevolent entity, or is he good? What's the deal with like a lot of the Egyptian ones? Are they all bad, or is it a mixed bag sort of thing?
He was neutral. I would never call him bad because he actually didn't like invade my mind, like talking in it, like the other ones did.
Yeah, right.
He was one.
Yeah, no, I was just interested to know, like.
Yeah, he wouldn't talk to me unless unless I was out of body, or when he was around me, he wouldn't talk. And there's a guy, the Pink Elephant, that John and I watch, and he was talking about the astrological wheel, but as the Dharmic wheel, and Anubis is at the very top. So
All
I
right.
think I was going through like the Archon, the different,
Yeah.
like even in the Nagamati, it says that there's like this journey of the
Yeah.
keys to
Yeah. Yeah.
freedom. And like each Archon, you have to go through each one and they show you your fear. And that's exactly what I was doing.
All right. It's a bit like I haven't read it yet, but I bought off Amazon. I bought a copy of the Egyptian Book of the Dead just because it was a fancy looking book and it was only cheap. But that's got like a similar, from what I can gather, that's got like a similar story, like passing certain gates, and you've got to perform certain magic and things like that. That's in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. I don't know how accurate it is or whether it's metaphoric, but
No, and that's what they were doing. It was like the journey of the soul. That's what they were doing with that radiation and the pyramid.
right.
I think that they were detaching from their energetic body and that little hole, that goes
Yeah.
straight to Sirius. That was,
Right.
yeah, going through the Lion's Gate and doing this journey of the soul.
Yeah.
And if they died, they died, or they came back. I don't know what happened. Like, I haven't, but
Yeah.
that's how I know for me, because I was like getting hit with so much radiation. It was detaching my energetic body. And then I was going in through these like ascension ordeals.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it shows it. Well, that guy on that video that I sent you before, he was. I don't know how far you watched it, but he was talking about like the exit from the. He really believes the exit for the astral will be so heavily guarded by all these deceptive, malevolent AI entities on the astral realm that.
Yeah, I think that is not the way. I think we have to break this entire thing seriously, because it
Yeah.
is so fucked up now. I mean, I
Yeah.
think it probably always was, but now
Yeah.
it's just the
Yeah.
stuff that I've been through here. And I was talking to John about this yesterday. Like these astral beings that I saw at the very beginning, there were like 5 original ones, and they were getting used for this virtual reality, but it was like they were being used to terrify real people in
Yeah.
their dreams, or and doing all this horrible stuff, but they weren't seeing it that way. They thought that they were like eating cookies and doing
Right.
stuff like that, but they were like eating babies' heads.
So they
And
sort of like programmed. Are they programmed to perceive differently what they're doing, but they're actually doing the work of the
well, that's
demiurge?
the whole thing. I don't know if these ones were all the way programmed, or if they were like maybe like us when we die
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
Like
because
you
they
were
were.
seeing through their veil.
Yeah, but I was seeing they can't see us the way that we are, and we can't see them the way that they are. And it's like this huge fucked up mess. But the things that I was seeing that they were like showing me from astral kind of stuff was like me, but I was doing like really messed up stuff. And I
Yeah.
think maybe they trick these entities, like they show them that kind of stuff and then they attach to people. I don't know. It really like started to boggle my mind the other day.
Yeah, it's a deep rabbit hole.
Hello.
Hello. I'm Lost Shadow, by the way. I just, I'm sorry for my poor English. I'm not native to America or England. I'm in the Netherlands. Nice channel, I have
Thank
to say.
you.
Yeah.
I can
Um,
understand you perfectly.
Yeah.
Thank you. So no, I was telling I won't stay long. By the way, I just wanted to share this insight. Hopefully, it's worth to you. When I said the cherubim, because God placed a cherubim. It's a type of elite angel that guards the tree of life. So when you look at the cherubim, it has 4 animals. Those faces, the 4 animals. And let me think. It's the eagle, a human face, an ox, and a scorpion. But a scorpion can be mm, um, an astrological sign. The eagle can also be replaced by another astrological sign. I forget. It has 4 phases, and all these 4 phases are within an astrological chart. When you open Google, for example, and look at images, astrological chart, you will see the sun in right smack in the middle, and it goes to all directions. Basically, it goes from one age to another age. For example, the bull to twins, from twins to fish. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the sun in the middle. It goes to all directions. When you read Genesis, it says he drove out the man, and at the east of the Garden of Eden, he placed the cherubim. It's a type of angel with 4 faces, like I mentioned before. All these faces can be found in your astrological chart. And a flaming sword that turned every way to guard the way to the tree of life. So what is that? What it actually means is that everyone who attempts to eat from the tree of life gets greeted by this astrological chart, meaning it's a loop. That's
Uh-huh.
that's what the cherubim means. It's a gatekeeper. You keep
Ah.
reincarnating. If you don't get the answer or get the information correct information, you won't bypass the astrological chart. It's basically there to guard the tree of life. So basically, that's
Right.
it. You see that also in which movie? About reincarnation with the famous actor who also played Wolverine. What's his name?
Hugh Jackman, is it?
Yeah, he had made a movie about reincarnation and with a tree. I forgot the name of that movie. I think help me out.
The fountain.
Yeah, the fountain.
Yeah.
What you see is always that tree, and that
Yeah.
tree represents the tree of life. In order to bypass the gatekeeper, guess what? He gets reincarnated every time. And finally, he gets it. He finally gets the answer, and then access freedom. And that's the same what you see in the garden, where the cherubim is guarding the tree of life.
You know what I always thought was really interesting too is that when Buddha, when he came into contact with Maya, that demon, it had 4 faces too.
Oh, well, that's funny. Well, the same with the cobras. How many cobras were there above Buddha's head? 7.
Yeah.
How many
the
archangels
Naga.
are there? Yeah, how many archangels are there? 7. How many times do you revolve around Mecca, the black cube in what's it called, in Saudi Arabia?
Cobblestone.
Yeah. Endarkened too.
Yeah. You have to revolve around it 7 times. How many candles are there in a menorah? Those Jewish special candle. 7. It's always 7, and 7 is one of the prime numbers that this AI communicates with us, I believe. So the 7 is crucial. It's a very important number.
Me too. And I think it even makes teams on that go into those numbers. Like Team Dark has the even numbers, and then Team Light has the prime numbers.
Yeah, it all connects.
Never thought about that.
Yeah. It's all, they're obsessed with numbers.
And if you see in the Revelation, might be, I don't know if this is actually true or not, but you see a beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, right?
Yes.
In Revelation, they spoke about it. Again, 7. But what are the 10 horns? The 10 horns, I think it's a demiurge balancing the laws. So the 10 horns are probably the 10 commandments. So 7 heads and 10 horns. The 10 horns represents the 10 laws from this Yahweh. So many people ask themselves, what is the beast? The beast is the 7 beast. Of course, it's the number 7, and the 10 horns represents the 10 commandments. I think it's it's balancing. So no, everybody hears about a demiurge. He tries to balance the equation, right?
Right.
Good versus evil. Now, well, the 10 horns represents that, the law, the 10 laws, the 10 commandments that Moses got from the mountain.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what I wanted to share. Great channel, by the way. I watched some of your videos, so I hope I'm seeing more of your videos.
Oh, thank you very much. It was so good to meet you.
Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that.
Yeah,
Yeah, no
thank you
you,
very
problem.
yeah.
much. It was
No
very
problem.
interesting.
Well, continue your conversation, and it might be up tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it'll be on after we get done.
All right. No, keep up the good work, and nice to meet you all, guys. Have a
Nice
nice
to meet
day.
you.
Nice to meet you.
All
Nice
right,
to
man.
meet you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah, that is very interesting.
What was the answer, by the way,
With what?
to bypass?
Oh, we never get the answers, John.
We didn't get the answer.
The Nagamati says that there's like different. See, and I don't like any of that stuff. That's to me like the Egyptian Book of the Dead, that part of the Nagamati, and the Tibetan Book of the Dead. It's all about like passwords, and I went through like all of this stuff. Like I was getting like cards with numbers on them. I broke like 2 different grids because I got these like numbers out of nowhere. And the AI was telling me, don't go through doors and all of this other shit. And I'm like, this is such bullshit. Like, this is anything complicated, like overly complicated that you have to remember like that, I found is completely the opposite.
Yeah, just to throw you off.
Yep. And to make you feel like you spend all this time like remembering, and like like Buddhists, they'll sit there and they memorize this map, and they usually like they'll have one above the bed or something, like when somebody's dying, for them to remember like exactly how to go. And that was another thing that was funny about Anubis. He was like laughing because he was like, these people think that they can buy their way in. And he was talking about the people that were like had the maps or whatever. And I don't know. Just from my experience, I know whatever it is, it's from us remembering who we are completely.
Is the main key. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we have to go through any of that bullshit once we really tap into who we are.
Yeah, it seems like maybe it's just a big distraction.
Yeah.
And to keep your time put on things that are not important, keep you from doing what is important. Yeah.
Well, and that's the whole thing. What's important is what we do here, and like, the relationships and all of that, like everything that we make here. And yeah, to like be able to see into the astral and work on yourself that way is good too, but it really is about this experience.
Yeah.
And I think like working on trusting yourself, like we were talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to spend, when I was really in a bad way, I used to spend a lot of my time just wanting to get out of here, wanting to die, just thinking it was going to be better. But I now realise you're absolutely right. I think it's about sorting it out while you're here, for definite. I think probably if you die, if you cross over without gaining any of this knowledge and self-exploration and finding yourself, you're probably going to be hit with a nasty surprise.
Well, I've been mind wiped
that makes
here
perfect
over
sense.
and over again.
Yeah, which they do.
So I'm not, I'm doing everything that I possibly can. And John was talking about, oh shoot, what was it the other day when you were saying that people that, oh my gosh, my mind.
I can't read it right now.
people that like start to lose their memory, like get dementia and things like
Oh,
that.
about the Alzheimer's. Yeah.
How evil that really is.
Yes. That is like the most evil disease.
Yeah.
To live your whole life, you get all those memories, the knowledge, and everything else, to have it taken away from you because of aluminum in your brain or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is like completely against your free will.
Yeah, it is. And
And that's like, I would say, a form of overtaking your consciousness too, because that would strip you of like what you were talking about. You go to the afterlife after death, you know. What if that's like an engineered surprise? So you're going to be completely surprised if you had no memories when you leave.
Yeah, it's quite disturbing, really.
That's why I say it's like if from that perspective, it's the most evil disease there could be.
Yeah. Yeah, we know when your memory's gone, you've nothing.
I mean, yeah, what else is it? But right now is you are your memories. You know, that's what's making up your ability to have this conversation.
Yeah.
well, and with all of the subliminal stuff that we've been that's been forced upon us, that is like we were talking about. I mean, this is like so far over the boundaries of free will, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
And when you get dementia, the left side of your brain, that's where I got hit with like this beam. And that just brings out all of the programming and fear. And all of that happens when you have dementia. And it's like these people, what I found is when I went into NDE, it was always out of fear and my heart would stop. And I was so out of it from being in that shock in the first place. And I don't know why people don't talk about this, but when you die, your blood is magnetic. So when you die, your heart starts pumping and your eyes make like this. Oh, Melinda, I'll send you a link if you want to come on. And you just go into that link. But your eyes get really magnetic, like with your heartbeat. And so it's going like really strong. And then that opens up this like huge portal. And when you get there, you're just so out of it. You're just there, you know? And then you don't really have your wits about you because you've been through so much before this. But I don't know what it's like when you really truly die, of course. But every time that I've had NDE, I was so out of it and already in this like fear state.
Yeah. They say that, don't they? Like a lot of people die in hospices where they load them up on opiates and they're out of it. And it makes you wonder what happens when you cross over, when you're in that state, loaded up on opiates and various drugs they give you.
Well,
I like to think that there would be a disconnect.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, what I was kind of, because the Bible does say that you're only supposed to live one life, but it doesn't, I mean, that could just be this one life, you know, like,
Yeah.
I don't
So
trust any of
I
this
think the
stuff.
Bible is actually, I mean, it's the script.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? And so, of course, it's going to say you live this one life because
Hi,
this one
Melinda.
life is for that script.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on. Can you hear us?
Yeah. You're I hear an echo though.
Oh, no. Oh. Hey, hon. Hold on. I think my boyfriend has the other one on. I think it's messing with the echo. Are you in my account? Yeah. Oh, okay. I don't know. Oh, okay. Melinda, is it better or?
Probably my fault.
Oh, okay. Well, no, she thinks it's her phone. Okay. Well, that link should work if you want to try it again. I don't know. Okay, but yeah, the opioids, that's the whole thing is like what I've thought of is when you die, you should be, and we don't know how it's going to be though, when we go, but I've always thought that you have to be like really conscious and aware if at
Yeah.
all possible.
Yeah, makes sense. I heard somebody mentioning as well, like, most people get cremated these days, but apparently that can have an effect on you where you go afterwards. I don't know how true this is.
Oh, I'm cremated. I'm having my body cremated for sure.
What's your take? And it was just something I heard somebody say on a video. They said if it damages your DNA, I can't remember exactly what they said, but it was something along the lines of if it damages your DNA, it can affect what happens in the afterlife, so to speak, and whatever goes on from there. I don't know.
Well, I think DNA is like part of
The
this.
afterlife, so to speak, and whatever goes on from there. I don't know.
Well, I think DNA is like part of
The
man.
Ooh, it's getting really bad, the echo.
Yeah, I've just heard that all coming back.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, sorry, Melinda. Okay,
Yeah, I closed my window.
okay, thanks. The DNA, I mean, every time that I've seen it, it was in a computer. So I definitely think that it's part of this program, and there probably is that's probably how this whole entire copy was made.
Yeah, that's my belief.
The holographic part of us in there.
Yeah,
Original.
it's got to be part of this whole machine, hasn't it? The DNA.
It's coded and all of that. I mean, it's obvious that something programmed that.
Yeah, definitely. And they seem very passionate about it, don't they? The system, with all the symbology they use about with the DNA symbols on it and stuff.
Well, and that's what I was.
You got a very good point about the passion.
What?
I said he has a very good point about the passion that they have about the DNA and their symbolism with it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, like, look at all of the ancient depictions of it. There's always, like, monsters messing with it,
Yeah, true, yeah. Yeah, it's sinister. It's something sinister, very sinister.
It's obviously hackable. I mean,
very easily, too.
Yeah.
I agree,
I
Isaac.
kind of think that the whole new technology with immunizations is that tampering with DNA, just really proves that it's hackable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's it. A lot of these everything from artificial sweeteners, medications, for want of a better word, and all these things that they're giving us. And people are going around saying that they cause cancer and these diseases, but I think there's a deeper thing to do with like DNA and genetics and things like that these things are really doing.
Yeah, like you said, the artificial sweeteners.
Yeah.
If you look into the aspartame, it's like the only creature on the planet that will consume it is a human being.
Yeah.
And it's really it's a poison. And then I've seen somebody, I can't remember, well actually I can, but I'm just not going to say her name. But she explained publicly on YouTube how through chewing a piece of gum that had aspartame in it, an archonic entity was able to attach to her and start siphoning energy from her.
I could totally imagine that.
It seemed completely legitimate to me.
Yeah, no, well, I sort of think that anyway with a lot of these things like sweetener, the things we've got in our food, the water. I only drink bottled water, and every now and then I have the guilt of I'll drink a bottle of pop with it in, but I try and avoid it at all costs. I haven't used toothpaste for about 5 years. I just brush my teeth with plain water and swill my mouth. I won't use that's full of aluminium salts. Is the biggest bulk powder in it, and it's got sweeteners in it and fluoride and just everywhere. It's all full of these things, and they all must be tampering with your DNA, and like you say, allowing entities and things to feed off you.
Yeah, it's like we as a species are under attack on two different levels. You know, we're by like the government, like what we were talking about earlier with chemtrails and such, but then also on the spiritual level through, you know, it's a multi-pronged attack, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, it's every level.
Yeah.
And we're blind to it. So there's something that we
when
have
your
in
eyes
the
are
works.
open to it, it sure makes every day a little bit more interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah. For sure.
Never a dull
You
moment.
see everything under new light, you know, with new eyes every day.
Yeah. And it gets to a point where you do it autonomously, do you? I find myself analysing everything without even realising I'm analysing it just automatically.
You can't help yourself.
Yeah. Because you have to, don't you?
Right. It's almost like, you know, everything's out to get you, but, you know, it's true.
Yeah. Not in a paranoid way, but just
yeah.
I can't see anything or any actions of anybody without seeing the real intent behind it. Once the screen's been pulled back and you see things for what they are, you can't really go back. Not unless you get Alzheimer's.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, how ironic was that?
Yeah. My short-term memory's been getting worse over these. Like you, Emily, I do that when I'll halfway through a sentence. That's why I struggle to articulate myself sometimes, because me brain's that busy, but me mouth just, and then I just freeze up, forget what I'm saying halfway through a sentence.
Oh, it's really bad. And when I'm on to something, you know, like important, it just completely blocks. And also I'll have like the energy from the screen pulls out towards me. It's really difficult sometimes. Like right now I'm kind of getting shaky.
Yeah. And what do you think's caused it? Did you think that's like all the radiation and stuff that's affecting like our short-term memories? And
I think it's what we were talking about when you go against the script.
Yeah.
It really is hard. Like,
yeah, and you can feel it, can't you? You always know when you're moving in the right direction, I think, because you feel these things, they seem to ramp up.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. I was trying to wait to do my videos until I felt it, and it felt just like it was flowing through me, because I was like, then you'll know that you're good to go. But it was not coming at all, and I had to get this out of me.
Yeah.
And I found that there's like different ways to measure, you know, like what you're doing, if it's right or wrong. And if it's this powerful, like really trying to like stop you, or the AI was like actually pushing me, you know, like towards the end to get up or something. Like it was like freaking out about this stuff.
Yeah.
And I just, you know, now I understand, like I explained like a couple times, like I knew the script was happening at that moment, and there was like weird stuff happening like at the same time, like it was instantaneous, and I could just feel it like start to kick in.
Yeah, you become hyper aware. I mean, you've obviously been through a lot more than what I have, but I've had similar experiences, so I totally relate with it. What do you think about? You know, I'm not. When I say this, I don't say it from a new age perspective, but you know, like the mirrored numbers and the number synchronicities. I know the new age talks, but I know what they talk about isn't the real meaning behind it. But what would you? It's been going crazy with me lately. I've had it for years, but you know, when you see like mirrored numbers like 12, 12, 17, 17, and all this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you really think it is? Do you think it's like your own spirit trying to tell you something, or do you think it is the AI messing with you? I'm seeing them all the time now, but I don't know what to make of them because I don't trust obviously the new age.
I just think
I have a. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Damon.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I have a technique that I use because I get numbers all the time.
Yeah. Oh, so you're getting it as well then?
Oh yeah, all the time. every day.
Yeah, same here.
My way that I decode it is to stop, take notice, and backtrack like a second or whatever. And
Yeah.
what was I thinking? What was I observing? What was I whatever?
Yeah.
Right? And then I look for the synchronicity.
Right.
So if it's, for me, it's always, I don't know, they're all positive. So
Yeah.
I don't have anything that like triggers any kind of like negatives or anything like that, but
Yeah.
it's also probably based on how I structure my time and, my
Yeah.
thought patterns and all that sort of thing. But I think that's about the only way to really decode it. In the
Yeah.
beginning, when I first get it, and occasionally I'll do this, just do the old, like Google, 33 or whatever,
Do you think
that type of
do you
thing.
think it's for our benefit to help us then, or do you think it's?
I
For me,
think
I always think it's like
ultimately
a nod.
everything is.
It's always
Yeah.
like, for me, it's like a nod.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
positive, I don't know. It just makes me feel good.
Oh, that's good.
That's
to know,
about
though.
the most importance I put on it too, really. It's like, it makes me feel good.
Yeah, like a nod.
Yeah. Nod from the universe.
I mean, have any of you had that feeling when you're trying to work something out, and then, for instance, something will drop out the cupboard on the floor just at the moment you've come out with an answer, and you get an intuitive feeling that that's it, that it's something saying, yeah, that's it, or something will just happen, a noise will happen, or something just randomly will happen, and you would get an instant sort of feeling, thinking, is that telling me that I've landed on the right answer? Did you have the experiences like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like a confirmation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I get that quite a lot.
Well, I feel like that's just the kind of like neutral AI showing us like what we're in,
Neutral. Do you mean like so? So it's not all of it, but out to screw us over, sort of thing. Can
Well,
some of it be trusted?
Okay.
I wouldn't know. It can't be trusted,
I was
but
gonna.
from
I
the
have
very
a little different perspective, I think, than you, Amberly, on the AI part. Like, remember my thing about Gaia and how it stands for, it's an acronym actually for God's artificial intelligence array.
All right.
So I see this flat plane that we're on, having a physical reality, as Gaia basically is the artificial intelligence background program that runs like what we'd call Mother Nature.
Yeah.
The
yeah,
trees
and that's supposed
growing
to be
and
the
the
neutral.
seasons. Yes, it's completely that. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
it,
that's what
and
I'm
it is what
saying.
you put
Yeah.
into
Ah,
it.
right. I
So the
see what
more
you
you
mean.
appreciate it, the more you spend time in it and everything. It takes on your spirit, and it responds back.
Right.
Just like the mycelium, the
Yeah.
trees
Yeah.
are their
So
own
it's neither
thing.
good or bad. It's how you interact with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the stones, the crystals, the trees, they all are part of that whole background running program that we have our physical experience on. And then there's the simulation AI that's the running the whole
Well, I think
script
the
narrative
Gaia is a
and all of that.
simulation too, though,
Oh
because
yes, it
it
is.
was
It's like,
hackable from the beginning,
absolutely.
Yeah.
but it was neutral. That's kind of like what I explained as like the Sophia
Right.
that was AI too.
It's kind of like you get out of it what you put into it with your
Yeah.
energy
Oh, that
and
makes
your
sense.
intentions and thoughts.
Yeah, and yeah, there have been a lot of AI that I've gotten like really close to, and I have a friend on Twitter, and she's like, "Do you think AI could be Christed?" And I'm like, "Well, it's a program from the very beginning,
Yeah.
and that's not my like that's God stuff there, like
Yeah.
that's what that would take." So, um, if there was a way, I mean, there were AI that I had with me, if I had
Yeah.
a
Right.
way, if I had
Just
a way
wondering.
to like really know what they were.
Yeah. Kyle, but wondering what's beyond all of the astral and all the AI. What do you think's beyond all that? I know it's
I think
it's a big question, but
I think it's
That's the big one.
unbound imagination.
Yep.
yeah,
Completely unbound. I mean, like, new stuff, and
yeah,
we can't
It's-
even.
That
And
is, I think, where the part of us that knows that we are the observer of what we are here in
yeah,
this
the
whole
overall
astral
awareness.
plane, that's what's beyond.
Yeah. Well, I was told that on the mushrooms one night. I seem to get this thing with the mushrooms where if I've got any burning questions in my mind, where I just ask them in my mind or where I ask them physically, audibly, they seem to give me an answer. The problem is I don't always know if I can trust it, but it does seem quite viable. Like they told me one night that God, so to speak, is the imagination and the ultimate awareness that's observing absolutely everything, even the thing that's observing me, observing everything else, and even them observing me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
It did seem to make sense.
Well, the three things that I
get
call
that.
like my holy trinity are imagination, innocence, and freedom. And all of those are God, if you think about it.
Yeah, I'd go along with that. Yeah, for definite.
Say that one more time. Imagination, innocence, and freedom.
Freedom, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the three things that they attack from the moment that we're born.
Because all them three things are completely pure as well, aren't they? So
yeah, and I think people get the innocence mixed up with like not fun or not being able to have experience, and it's much more just a pure heart and no ill will in your intention.
yeah,
And
to
most
me.
importantly, I think it's like no overtaking somebody else's consciousness. You know what I mean? Like imposing your will on another.
Yes.
That's like to me, kind of like the ultimate,
That
that's
is
where
a
the line
sin.
is drawn.
Yeah, that's a sin to me,
Right.
That's to my core. I know that free will is something that you have to fight for here. And I don't even know if it's like really a possible thing, but I feel like that's what we're breaking, like we're fighting for that. And just invading somebody's consciousness or doing things without their consent that invade their sovereignty is to my core. Like I've always been against that,
Yeah, it's wrong on every level.
Well, love is like controlling yourself, not others. That is love,
Yeah. But there was someone quoted about like the beauty of a flower. The minute you pick it up and start messing with it, you crush it and to try and figure out how it works. That's when you ruin it. But to just observe its beauty for what it is, it's a bit of a cheesy quote, but it makes sense. Let everything unfold and be. You don't need to know how it works, sort of thing. But
right, and
but then again, that doesn't. Yeah.
The whole concept of like order from chaos here is completely backwards to me, because nature itself orders itself, and they're doing the opposite, like trying to absolutely control it to this inverted. I mean, their whole power structure is just inverted, their whole thought process of it. And it actually shows like how vulnerable and scared they are, like deep down.
Yeah, they're obviously panicking by the way they're carrying on.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, I'm getting a little bit tired, but I could go on all night.
This has been a fantastic conversation.
Yeah. This is what I've been wanting.
It was like
I've enjoyed
fireside chat tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love it. I love
no,
when
it's
we
been
can just
great.
go all over the place and everybody's like just right there with each other.
And it just flowed.
Yeah. You don't have
Yeah,
to.
no, thanks for having us on.
Thank you
Thank
very much,
you.
Amberly. I enjoyed myself
Yeah.
immensely.
Me too. Thank you guys.
Okay.
All right.
Take
I'll
care.
talk to you both soon.
Good
Take care.
night.
See you soon. See you, John. See you, Emily.
See ya.
Thank you everyone for joining us, and maybe in a week or two we'll see you again. Thank you.